Welcome to this week's edition of the Gridiron, sponsored by Patriot Chevrolet. I'm your host, John Brennan, with head coach Chad Brubaker. Springford was victorious in the week one, what did we say? Week one of the 6A playoffs against North Penn, 42-35. Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Week one of the postseason, we'll call it right here. Always great to
Now
get
we're
these
entering the quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals of the District 1 6A playoffs.
Right.
Always good to get these postseason wins. This is 2 years in a row you've won a first round game. Congratulations. Your quick thoughts on the game?
I like when you ask me questions.
Oh, you
we
wanted
won.
questions. Sorry.
Listen, we won, and we maybe should have put it away earlier, but we didn't. But we won. So we'll take that. Our kids showed resiliency in the game, coming back and scoring on the last drive to win it. Coming back to tie it on the previous drive, coming back to win it on the next drive. Anytime you can get a win in the playoffs, you'll take it.
Yeah, I guess, we were...
Hit me with the questions now.
So we were talking a little bit as English. I would say it's a little bit of a game of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Two great quarters. The first and the fourth quarter, we played awesome, both sides of the ball. And the second and third quarter, we played not very good football on both sides of the ball there, too. So a lot of good. And we talk about this time of year, you got to be consistent. And you've talked about on the show. So I'm sure that's a little bit of what you saw, too.
Well, I'm going to come on, first of all, and I'm going to, our defense was on the field way too long.
Okay.
So I'm going to start there, and I have some statistics for you.
Give me the statistics. I love it.
Okay. So we were up 21-0.
Yep.
From that point, 21-0.
Yep.
Until midway through the third quarter.
Because they went on that 8-minute drive to score to go 28-21.
Yep. Put it this way, until we scored again.
Yep.
No, until we got the ball back. We had a two-play drive that we scored. It was 28-21 at that point. From when it was 21-0 to that, right before that point.
Yep. There
were 58 plays.
Okay.
Including kicks.
Sure.
How many offensive plays?
Did Springford run out of 58? 12?
8.
Okay.
So it was 8-36. So our defense was on the field 36 plays in that stretch, and we had 8. Okay, now, it's good to score quickly. We scored in 2 plays, so that took it up to 10, right?
Yep.
From there out, how many plays?
From after it's 28-21, you're saying now? Or after it's 28-28?
I'm saying, well, you can include it either way you want. Like, we scored in 2 plays. So we scored in 2 plays.
Make it back.
They go down, a fake punt,
and they convert
for a touchdown.
And then they score.
And then we take a kickoff.
Oh, that's when they had the...
we took a kickoff back.
Yep.
And we scored in 2 plays again.
Yeah.
So scoring fast is both a blessing and a curse, because overall in the game, they were on the field. Our defense was on the field for 67 plays. Our offense was only on the field for 42. And really, if you take out the first quarter, which I didn't do in my statistical analysis for this, so I don't have it, but it's way lopsided. So after we scored, Matt to Mason over the top for 72, we were on the field for the next 17 plays. We were on the field offensively 2 and on defense for 15. So really, again, if I would take out the first quarter and a little of the second quarter, 67-42, that's 25 plays difference.
Yeah.
That's huge. But if I took out the first quarter after that 21 and went all the way to the end, took out the O&D, because we had a 10-play drive.
Sure, yeah.
So, I mean, it's not hard to do, really.
I'm looking at it here,
knock 10 off 42. And then the first play of the game, that was another. Well, this is easy. That was 11 plays. And then I think we had a 4-play drive that we punted. That was 15. And maybe another 5, so 20. So probably in the range of 22 to closing in on 60.
Yeah.
After the first quarter. So the defense was on the field way too long. And they played pretty well considering that. And so.
And I was going to add in the point that those 3 touchdowns that they got in the second quarter were on short fields too.
They were, once because of the
the fumble and the
kickoff.
And then those were all around kind of like midfield.
There was a punt. There was a punt, a 60-yard punt that was called back because of
procedure, yeah.
Someone wasn't on the line. And then that was a 30-yard loss, essentially. Because,
yeah, huge.
So, yeah. And also, we were kicking off of our 25, which I'm waiting for you to bring up.
Yeah,
we did that twice.
Doesn't get you there, too. So, we talk about things in the playoffs, too, where we got to be clean football. We did have the fumble on the kickoff, and you had a couple 15-yarders on kickoffs, which really push you back.
No, not on kickoffs, on unsportsmanlike.
Right, but I'm saying like it leads to the kickoff pushing it back. And I would say kickoff has, for the past couple weeks, has been, or even from the beginning of the year, you'd say, has been an issue, too. So when you're giving teams all that opportunity to get into the field, like you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball, too.
The first one we kicked off from the 25, we actually did very well. The second one, someone was out of position. And they got a little bit more. But again, we were kicking off the 25.
Sure,
so
yeah.
That's a 15-yard difference to start. And then late in the game, there were a couple kicks that were short that didn't give us enough time to get down there. So it's a mixture of things. You know, when we do it right, we're pretty good at it. But, you know, the kick has to be where we want it and deep. And then guys have to do their jobs. When we do our jobs and when everybody does their job, we've been pretty good at it. So I don't necessarily know. There will be a couple changes on kickoff, not major ones, but I don't know what to do, how to fix that.
Yeah.
You know,
especially
if everybody does the job, we're good.
And guys, like you said, you've kind of taken out some of these fringe guys, and you see it's your starters guys that are out there doing that. Yeah, so that's.
Which, by the way, then also impacts. So all 3 starting linebackers are on the kickoff team.
And then they're going playing
down and then playing defense. But it's just it's where we're at right now in the
what you
playoffs.
need. Yeah, I got what you're saying. All right, so let's talk about offense there. And I thought it was.
I do have. You
got more plays. Go ahead. Yep.
We started the game. We were up. Offensively, we had until that point, right, that we talked about where we were kicking off our 25 and we're up 21-0.
Yep.
We had 21 offensive plays. They had 13. I did do it.
Yeah, so like I said, the first quarter.
And that included one play drive.
The first quarter was exactly what you guys wanted.
Yeah.
Now, give credit to North Penn. They could have just said, but they didn't quit. They hung in there. They ran
absolutely.
the ball. Like, you know, they stuck with what
panic.
they wanted to do. Yeah, exactly. It's a good way of saying it. They didn't panic out there. All right, now let's talk about, I thought when you were good on offense, you had the running game, and you had Zollers running. You had the underneath stuff. You had Kirshner a couple times a little bit. You hit a couple slants. And then that allowed you, I think, to attack the field a little bit deeper. It wasn't just look deep, which I thought we thought in the past couple weeks. I thought it was look deep, and we kind of got away from that.
I'm going to James Franklin you on this.
Go ahead, give it to me.
You know what I'm referring to?
Yeah, when he gives it to the.
Like that's not it.
Okay.
Like we go through progression. Like, you know, on the first play of the game, Mason was actually supposed to run a slant, but the safety was over and up. And Matt and him looked at each other, and he ran like a skinny post on it. So we're going to take a shot when the shot's there, definitely. But it wasn't a matter of us, like, looking deep. It's just, you know, that's what, like, the one that Jordan Marsilio caught down to the 1, which was the 3rd drive.
Yep.
That wasn't Matt, like, taking shots or whatever.
He's finding his guy that's open. He's going to go with it.
Pre-snap, Jordan put a great move on that kid. They were playing man.
Yeah.
And, you know, he beat him. So that's Matt's first read in his progression. So it's all about progressions. Like, yes, are there plays, gadget plays where we'll take a shot? Yes. But for the most part, it's a progression thing.
And I thought it was a game where we got, you know, we talked about being balanced. I thought a lot of guys got touches in the game, too. Like, you got Bendowski with a couple carries instead of Jamal for every carry.
Yeah.
Jordan had some catches. Bilal had some catches out there. It was a game where you talked about they could, obviously teams are focusing on Mason out there, but those other guys made some plays for you too.
Yeah, I mean, Bilal caught a touchdown. Jordan had 3 catches. You're right. I think Mike got 3 carries and a touchdown. Evan Straminsky got a touchdown.
Right, yeah,
so we're really spreading it around.
Yeah, so guys usually. Hey, here's a question for you, rules question. 52, there's no rule about like reporting or that doesn't involve high school.
No, no high school kid can catch a forward pass but they can get handoff.
They can, okay, so depending on number. See, thank you. See, I'm learning
Got it.
stuff right there. All right, Coach, good segment there. Let's take a look at the offensive highlights from Springford, North Penn.
Offensive highlights are brought to you by Dimitri's Pizza.
I thought I had these in order, John. I thought I had them in order.
Oh, it's hard. You know what I mean?
Oh, I did have them. I do. I was thinking
This is the play we're talking about, yeah.
So they had converted that into from a slant. You see the safety down there on the logo, and he's way low, and Mason's way over top. You'll see there. He had no shot.
Really good ball?
Yeah. Well, there's no, Matt can just lay it out there. Here's Evan Straminski getting his first touchdown of his high school career. He runs the kid over at the goal line.
So now we're up 14-0.
Yeah, this was a crazy throw and catch, by the way. Just unbelievable throw. Like
only your guy's going to catch it, gets his foot down.
Yeah, it's just an unbelievable play. And then, so this is the one, and this time Mason goes over top of the kid. Just a really nice throw from Matt. And Mason does a good job using his body to shield the corner there. We call that stacking the corner. You know, you'll see it right here. See how he's over top of him? So that's either going to be
He's shouldering
pass.
with like his shoulders, keeping him out of the play there.
It's either going to be pass interference or it's going to be our ball, you know. And this was just a huge play because we were down right now, and our guys do a good job.
And you can see the seam from the press box. You just saw it coming too.
When everybody executes, that's what happens. So we get down inside the 10. Here's a great view of it. You see you have Jamal waving him through there, and then getting down and getting a couple blocks for him. And that was a huge momentum shift. But again, that took away from some of our defensive rest. This is a play we scored on.
You score on the go up here at the end of the game.
A little RPO. You see, watch that outside linebacker. He doesn't know what to do. Should he come up the field? Should he play the run? And then this is the last touchdown of the game.
Almost like they're like, go ahead and score. We want the ball too. Maybe a little bit.
I don't know, because they called timeout before that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Call timeout, go score, give us a chance to get the ball. Maybe. Who knows?
I thought they were playing hard.
Okay.
If they stop, it was a tie game.
Yeah,
It wasn't as if we were going to go up 2.
Here's a question for you. Was there any thought about moving the ball to the middle of the field to like where you scored an extra point from and kick a field goal to win the game with no time left?
No.
You were going to go score. Okay,
Yeah.
see? End of the game situation. End of the game situation.
It's not like pros or college where, like, we have some pretty good kickers. Ryan and Liam
We've had a lot of good kickers here.
do an unbelievable job. However, putting that in the hands of, like, we've been pretty good with extra points, whatever. Yeah. Let's just score and then play defense.
I'm just asking the questions for the people out there. Just make sure we're in kids.
I got you.
All right, Coach. Good segment there, all right?
Yep.
Make sure you stay tuned through the commercial break. We're back with the defensive highlights and some special announcements about this week's game.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Welcome back to the Gridiron, sponsored by Patriot Chevrolet. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. All right, Coach, we get to host another district game this week here. We're going to host Central Bucks South, but we always like to do announcements. What's going on? I know you have a couple announcements on your little stat sheet over there. What do you got? What are your announcements?
Well, I just wanted everybody, and I put this out on social media, but Gary Rodenbaugh got his 100th win as a player and coach at Springford. So that's a huge milestone for him, and people were pretty happy for him on the, what do you call it, the Facebook?
On the Facebook, yep, that's a thing, yep.
So, although it was supposed to be announced at the game.
Listen, it's a whirlwind there at the end of the game. I'm trying to get the Central Bucks game going on, and listen, I'm good. Okay. If it's on a piece of paper, right. I'm good at reading.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm not a great ad libber, but go ahead.
And then also on Saturday night, Coach Moyer, our cornerbacks coach, Steve Moyer, was inducted into the Tri-County chapter of the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame. So really nice banquet. Dave Ridenauer is the president of that. They do a great job. And a lot of our staff was there, which I know really hit home for Coach Moyer. Some of our younger guys were there. You know, it's a Saturday night.
Yeah, right.
You only get so many Saturday nights when you're 25.
Yeah, that's a good
And those
point.
guys.
You can remember those days at 20?
No,
Okay,
no,
just making
but
sure.
those guys came, and it was really good and a great ceremony. A lot of really good speeches about athletics, and I would encourage anybody out there, if you ever get a chance to go to that.
And you've always hit on how blessed you feel as a coach to have the staff you do, and like the people you have around football.
Yeah,
you have guys that know football on your staff.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Like we have 3 former head coaches. We have guys that could have interviewed for head coaching jobs, could have been a head coach and decided not for them. So, yeah.
All right, I'm going to read this announcement here. I'm going to read it. Because I don't want to mess it up. So those that are interested, we're a little national news for Springford Area School District. Good Morning America and the Pennsylvania Treasurer, Stacey Garrity, will be on hand Friday night's game against Central Buck South to return unclaimed money. The Pennsylvania Treasury Department has more than $4.5 billion in unclaimed money, and it belongs to about 1 in 10 Pennsylvanians. Good Morning America and the Treasury will have a table set up where you can look quickly to see if your name or any of the other money belongs to you, Coach. Maybe go check it out.
Are they going to be set up pregame? Because I'll go check.
Yeah, and in addition to supporting the football team, you have a chance to go home and win some newfound cash and maybe even find yourself on a future episode of Good Morning America.
Well, that would be nice.
Maybe they're going to step up into the press box and
there
we can. So pretty exciting news. Good Morning America making an appearance at the game Friday night.
I have a feeling I'm not with the 1 in 10. I'm not very lucky that way.
But anybody that comes has the opportunity to hear this. So that
would be
really
pretty cool if someone showed up and realized they had like $100,000 sitting somewhere.
Yeah, maybe it's me.
Maybe they would donate it to the
Maybe if I don't show up next Monday for school, maybe I found some unclaimed money.
Donate a portion of it to the Springford Touchdown Club.
Ooh, or just maybe Springford Athletics too. Maybe the whole.
It's a football game.
Okay, football game. All right, so there we go. Cool, really cool announcement. We got Good Morning America coming around, and your coaching staff doing some really good things. All right, so we talked about the defense there, and once again, first quarter came out great. Got some big defensive stops for you against a running, like downhill team. They're going to get after, and you're going to see that same type of concept this week from CB South. They're going to be running the ball. So now what we said there, good stuff. And there's some good things they take, but there's once again they got to see missed tackles, letting guys go through a hole, whatever the case may be. There's obviously things you got to work on this week too.
The big thing that I feel, again, we were up 21-0. They didn't panic, which was very good on their staff's part. I felt that, it's 21-7. If we get the ball back and go down and use time before the half and it's 28-7, or maybe we kick a field goal, whatever, and kind of really utilize that time, they would have had to change their approach.
Yeah.
And
good point. Like then we're going to make them throw the ball a little bit, which
we didn't force that. And they did a good job even when they were in 3rd and longs. We really liked their quarterback on film. He was out for part of the year. He did a great job of scrambling. There was one time in particular I remember, I think it was still in the first half, where we had him. I mean, we were surrounding him, and he just ducked up in the pocket and ran for 12 yards. And
he did have a couple big plays with his feet to keep drives alive, too.
He did, and that's hard. That's hard because no matter what you do.
You have guys covered in the back end, you think, you don't get a sack, and then all of a sudden it's very deflating. I get you.
No matter what you do, and he gets away, that's tough, and that is deflating. So, again, they kept drives alive. They had long drives. Our defense was out in the field way too long, which was also – and playing with some short fields, which was an issue with the unsportsmanlikes, with the I guess there was a 3-and-out and a 4-and-out kind of deal. And all that kind of contributes to one thing. And that's, by the way, that's the beauty of football, right? The beauty of football is it's not just, the defense shutting somebody down. It's the offense preventing the other team from going on the field and keeping those guys on the sidelines. And it all works together. So
I feel a guy who's kind of had some big weeks here the past couple of weeks has been Bryce Roberts on the defensive line. He's gotten himself in the run game. He's making tackles. And I also noticed him making tackles downfield. Like he's like, even if it gets by him, he's hustling. He's still making plays for you all over that defensive line.
Bryce he had 12 tackles. Here was his line.
Oh, so I got it right that I was saying his name a lot. Okay, just making sure. Okay.
Here was his line. 12 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 3 hurries, and a sack.
It's a pretty good game.
That's a pretty good game. The 12 tackles is the most I've seen by a lineman in a long, long time. And again, it's a running team, so you would hope that he would have more tackles. But he's done a tremendous job. And you know, again, we said it on PCTV. You know, if we can ever get Bryce, Bryce is a dynamic player. He needs structure. And if he ever gets to a point, and that comes with maturity, right? Mm-hmm. If he gets structure and he structures his own tasks that he has, look out.
Yeah.
Because he is just a dynamic football player. He's very explosive. He's 240 pounds. Like I remember on the PCTV broadcast, they were saying he doesn't look like he's 240 pounds.
Yeah.
Like his legs and his rear end weigh a lot. And he is a strong, strong kid.
I just once again the hustle of him. You know, 'cause sometimes you just kind of, you know, you're like. But I thought him chasing down plays five yards downfield. Like it was
absolutely.
That's an effort thing, is what you're talking about out there. You know, easy to get down on yourself. I'm not gonna get myself in the run game. You got to like to see when you see those effort type plays from him.
And there were a couple. I mean, he was exhausted at the end of the game too. Like the last play, he made the tackle for loss, which forced them to punt.
Yeah.
And like he laid on the ground a little. I wasn't sure if he was hurt. I think he was just real tired.
Yeah. All right, Coach, good stuff there. Let's take a look at the defensive highlights from Springford, North Penn.
Defensive highlights are brought to you by Floor and Decor.
Okay, so they muffed the snap. They didn't have any. They had one turnover. We had an interception by Brady Welsh.
Yeah.
But they only had that one turnover. But this one caused them, you know. And there is Brady and Bryce Roberts making the play on the quarterback. They tried to run. We'll see a lot of this week. By the way, a lot of this.
Quarterback trying to just go off.
Yeah, and that was Bryce Roberts again making a tackle for a loss.
See, I didn't see it. There's your interception here.
This was a great job. Welsh gets his first interception of the year, takes it back in almost into North Penn territory.
Keep going outside there, right?
Well,
go to the sideline. Watch. Go.
Right there, he's got a kid behind him. I think he feels that kid.
Okay,
that's why he didn't go.
All right.
He's good. He's good. You know, they're running these compact formations, and again, there's Bryce Roberts making a play, but it was forced back inside by Nick Garzarella, who did a really nice job as well. Again, we're going to see a lot of this. Yep. Who? Bryce Roberts. All right.
Just tell everybody out there, I did not see these highlights before I queued in that question.
Well, he just did a nice job. You know, he creates problems at the line of scrimmage, and I don't know what he's up to in terms of tackles for loss, but you remember at the beginning of the year, Bryce was not starting, and it was because of some of those things we talked about in terms of structure. He's done a better job of some of those things. And, you know, we need to trust him. And that's one of the things that kids don't understand. You know, we need to trust you. We need to trust that your grades are in order. We need to trust that you're doing the right things in school. We need to trust that you show up every day with effort and enthusiasm. And if some of those things aren't there, and I'm not talking about just Bryce, I'm talking about everybody.
Yeah.
If some of those things aren't there, like we got to be able to trust you when the moment's big. We got to be able to trust you.
And once again, it's not like teams see the name Fidowski, they see Straminsky, like, all right, we got to stop these guys. He's kind of found these opportunities where they're looking after other guys, and he's making plays. It's like they're saying, who else can make plays for Springford? And he's one of these guys stepping up, making plays for you. All right, Coach, good stuff right there. And on to the quarterfinals. All right, make sure you stay tuned through the commercial break, and we'll preview the quarterfinal game with Central Bucks South.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Welcome back to the Gridiron, sponsored by Patriot Chevrolet. I'm your host, John Brennan, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. All right, Coach, we're down in the final 8 in the 6A bracket. All the chalk, as you would say, moved on right here. It's 1 through 8 moved on. We had no upsets in the first round.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't know that. I knew that kind of off the top of my head. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there it is out there. So
let's hope that continues.
That'd be really good for us because we're going to host here. So you got Springford CB South. You got the top CB West was able to beat Cheltenham. Garner Valley, a close one against Owen J. Roberts. Downingtown East.
Yeah, they won.
Stomped Wissahickon. Perkins Valley in a 10-point win over Quakertown. Souderton in a 7-point game close one against Pennsbury. And Downingtown West had to play on Saturday because they're sharing that stadium, but now they're going to travel to Souderton. So we got 2 PAC teams left there. Looks like we got 2 Chesmont teams, and the rest of that, we got a Central and then 3 suburban teams. The CB West, the CB South, and Souderton out there. So CB South here, the 5 seed. You guys edge them out in points a little bit. It gives you the opportunity to host this game here.
How about that? They were 9-1, we were 8-2, but that speaks to our non-league schedule and the quality of opponents that we play.
And their only loss this year is the CB West, who's the number 1 seed out there too. So as you would say, they're battle tested. They've played teams in this district tournament out there. They got a late win, I guess, against CB South. Coatesville scored late, went for 2, didn't get it.
Yeah.
They get
How about that?
Wonder what they're talking about.
Let me tell you. So the whole game, right? What did I say last week? What did I say last week?
You go for 2 again.
Yeah, so the whole time, like, it's 28-21, we score 28-28. 35-28, we go down, score 35-35. I'm thinking if they score here,
I'm going to have to go for 2.
we didn't want to be in that situation. We want to win a game.
Well, once again, I do appreciate you letting me kind of come in, and I did hear you say this. Like, I just kept thinking I'm going to have to go for 2 again there. So, all right, so CB South this week, 9-1. You want to watch a running team that's going to run the football all night long? Here's Central Bucks South a little bit. So talk about Central Bucks South offensively.
Yeah, so you hit it on the mark. I think they've thrown under 70 passes for the entire year. Now, when they do throw, they're very effective because guys are wide open because people are selling out on the run. They do a nice job. They do a nice job with shifts, a nice job with motions. They kind of put you in conflict in terms of, are they going the whole way through? Like, they'll motion their tailback, and is he going to run the whole way through, orbit through, or is he going to stay there and then come back? Or, so they run their quarterback a lot. Their running back is as good a running back as we've seen the whole year. He's not a huge kid, but he is quick. When guys run away from Coatesville's secondary, they're pretty fast.
Yeah, and once again, this is where they're looking at, you talked about looking at your personnel, your team. I'm sure their coaching staff is like, look at these guys we have up front. Look at this running back. This is what we are going to. We are going to pound the football.
Well, they were going to do that anyway, but yes. So, hey, they can look at the last couple weeks. The guys have had pretty big games. Running backs have had pretty big games against us. Again, part of that is on our offense and our special teams in, making a long field and also, keeping our defense on the sideline, keeping their offense on theirs. But they're really big up front. They block very well. They're going to give us all we can handle.
Before we do this, I always like to know: did you ask for the last 3, or did they ask for the last 3? What was the?
No, this one we kind of switched it up. So we already had their Father Judge game because we played Father Judge earlier in the year after them. We took the CB West game.
Yeah, I was going to get that.
We took the Abington game because Abington shows some formation similar to us, even though it was lopsided. And we took the Coatesville game.
And which ones are they? Last 3 from you, or they picked?
They took PV, Pope John Paul, and our last game.
Okay.
North Penn.
I always like to see what teams are interested here in watching. And like you said, there's games to be found on the internet machine.
Yeah, well, see, it really doesn't matter for our defense because they're going to run their offense no matter what, So
it's almost you for, like, what do they like to do defensively?
Well, we want to see formationally, how they're going to try to line up. So.
All right, let's take a look at Central Bucks South on offense.
Upcoming game highlights are brought to you by Davis Painting.
We used to play them a little bit in non-league too, didn't we? Like
we played them in 2018 and 2019.
The Titans, I believe. Here, throwing the ball.
Yeah, I put that in for you.
Okay.
So.
And then breaks a tackle.
Yeah.
See ya. Now
that was fluky, but that's number 2, the running back.
This is their running back.
Shows you it's really not a receiver, it's their running back, and he does a really nice job there breaking tackles.
Here
But
they
watch
are
this
running it.
move on the safety
Whoop.
right there. And then he's going to outrun the Coatesville secondary right there to get in the end zone. So he is a dynamic player. You know, they'll do some motion. Sometimes they'll run to
They're
it.
throwing it. You got him wide open here.
Yeah, so that's just a tight end up the seam there. Misses a tackle, finally get him inside the 20. But that's the predicament they can put you in because this is what he does.
Shoop.
And again, running away from the Coatesville secondary and making a play. So this is
a shift now, right? They're
So
going to get reset.
That changes your whole strength of your formation. And again, he's dynamic. He bounces off.
And it takes discipline to do that shifts too.
Yeah.
Because you got to be patient as a quarterback. You got to give them a time to set, but you don't want to give them too much time for the defense. The shift is
Right.
It looks easy when they do it in the NFL. It's harder to execute.
Yeah,
as a
absolutely.
as a high school.
I get
offense.
nervous a lot of times. Our kids are going to jump off sides, or the wrong guy's going to go in motion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and this is going to be a long day. It's not just Central Buck South, just not down the road for them on Friday night. They'll be on the bus early, I would say.
Yeah, so we played them in 2018 and 2019. In 2018, they came down here and beat us. I was pretty upset. I thought we were the better team at the time, just didn't play real well. And then the next year, we went over there and lost our quarterback in the first series.
I remember this game. Yeah.
And Dante Bonani, who had never taken a snap in a game,
Went back there and started
went
playing
back
quarterback.
and played quarterback. Because I told him he was disappointed, but I'm like, Dante, who's going to throw you the ball? He was like, good point. So he played quarterback for us and just basically handed off, and we tried to throw a couple balls deep. But Dante did a great job. But in that game, Stephen Brill had a 70-yard interception return. We blocked a punt for a touchdown, and we scored. We had one other score. I forget what it was, but we found a way to win that game, which was huge. At the time, they were ranked number 5 in the state by the Harrisburg Patriots. So
and the Titans, I believe, right? Central Buck South Titans. All right, just want to make sure I get that right for
blue
Friday.
and black uniforms.
They'll be wearing the whites.
Yeah.
We're gonna wear we went all blue last week. I saw.
Yeah, I think we'll probably do that again.
Stick with all blues. All right. What are you gonna see from defensively?
So defensively, they play a 3-4, but they do it a little bit differently. At least they did last game against Coatesville than what we've seen. They're going to play their overhang linebackers off a lot, play coverage, and they're able to do that because they're so good in the box. They have some big dudes up front. Like, we love number 5, the defensive end. He's a really good player. And their linebackers go 215 and 225, so they can really plug holes. They played a lot of 4 over the top, and then sometimes they'll drop the safety down and play 3 deep behind it, or they even were playing like cover 2 to one side to the split side, which is an answer for someone like Mason. So we're going to have to move guys around a little bit and disguise what we're doing in terms of who's where and really try to put our chess pieces at different spots.
Got what you're saying. All right, let's take a look at the Titans on defense.
Upcoming game highlights are brought to you by Davis Painting.
There's a 3-down lineman you're talking about.
There's a 3-down lineman.
And the linebackers are further off the ball, which is
are.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but you see there, they have 5 in the box, and they're still making plays. Again, they have 5 in the box here. Quarterback brings it down. Now, that's, that overhang doesn't have anybody to block him, but he still makes the tackle.
Right, it's a
there.
one-on-one tackle where
Yeah.
Coachville saying, I think our guy's going to beat your guy out there in space.
And they do a nice job of stringing plays out. But again, they can do that because their overhangs are out there kind of in the middle of nowhere.
So then you say, I can run inside, and they shut that down too.
Yeah, it makes it a little cloudy. Again, here they are. This is, there's nothing there. And that was number 5 that I told you about, making a play there. And he's a pretty quick defensive end.
Coach, it looks like it's going to be a great matchup here.
I hope. Obviously they're going to try to run the ball and do the same thing that North Penn did on Friday. We have to find ways to extend our own drives and counterbalance that.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, this is what you say. 4-5 matchup. Who can play mistake-free football? Who's going to make that 1 to 2 big plays in a game that can really decide it? But
we're happy that it's at home. We think that gives us a little bit of an advantage. Hopefully our student section watches the video board and gets their cues from there.
Yeah, well,
that would be
that's
helpful.
tough for them to figure. It's tough. They're talking and on their phones,
Yeah.
and they got to pay attention. It's hard for the young
Maybe we
people.
should put the scoreboard, like have a live feed on TikTok. There you go.
You have to talk to technology about that one. That's above my pay grade. All right. Well, best of luck to you in the
Yeah,
Crew
thank
Friday.
you.
Make sure you tune in next week as we recap the game with Central Bucks South. For the head coach Chad Brubaker, I'm John Brennan. See you next time on the Gridiron.